Okay, so we are going to be working on arithmetic and geometric sequences. That's what your next test is over. In this section, you will have the same 5 formulas that you had last year. Okay, I will not change them. They are the same. You have the definition of an arithmetic sequence. You'll have the partial sum of an. You don't need to have it in your hand.
I know.
I know, but you're looking at me like I was weird for telling you not to pick it up. Okay, so you'll have the definition of arithmetic sequence. You'll have a partial sum of an arithmetic sequence. You will have a definition of a geometric, a partial sum of a geometric, and the sum of a geometric. So we will have those 5 formulas. I will suggest to you that every day, every time you use it, you write the actual formula until it's stuck. Okay? Once it's stuck, they do come in handy. I know that on the ACT, there's usually at least one of each problems, writing a definition or finding a definition, which you can do process of elimination, but it's much easier if you can just do the problem. So today we're going to write, recognize, and find the nth term, and tomorrow we're going to have the partial, and then the next day we'll do all 4 things, sorry, not 3. Okay, an arithmetic sequence is a sequence whose consecutive terms have a common difference. D means I'm adding or subtracting the same thing every time. I find the common difference by taking the second term minus the first, the third minus the second, the fourth minus the third. Okay, just like you would find any other time if I wanted the difference between numbers and weren't thinking about it. So I have the following sequences. Are they arithmetic? Okay. When it comes to your test, I'm going to ask you, are they arithmetic, geometric, or neither? I'm just going to put them all together. So I have 7, 11, 15, 19. Do those numbers have a common difference?
Yeah.
Yes. What is that common difference?
4.
4. So my common difference is D equals 4. Now, this is the equation that we will write on the next slide. Now, the next one, I have 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. Then 5. Then 7. Is it arithmetic? No. So you have a yes. Usually ask it, is it arithmetic? If it is, what's the common difference? So you'd say D equals 4. So it'd be no. Okay, my work is very basic. Is this the work that I would show? Yes. Okay, I'm not asking you how you got that. I should be able to figure that out. Okay, what about 3? 2, negative 3, negative 8, negative 13.
Minus 5.
You're subtracting 5 every time. So it is yes, and the difference is negative 5. Okay. So we're subtracting 5 every time. And when we say common difference, our brain wants to say subtraction, but a difference in numbers is just the amount of space between them, correct? Whether it's left to the left or to the right. Now the next one, we're tempted to say no, but we can't even decide until they all have what? Common denominators. So my common denominator is going to be what?
4.
4. So I'm going to have 4 over 4, 5 over 4, 6 over 4, and 7 over 4. So is it arithmetic? Yes. What's my difference?
1/4.
D equals 1/4. Many times people will say with the fraction, oh, it's not. Be careful, you need to figure it out. If I wanted to, again, I would take 5 fourths minus 4 fourths, right? Equals 1/4. 6 fourths minus 5 fourths. You are doing this in your head. You're not writing it out. Are you going to have numbers you're going to have to write out to see? Yes, you're going to have some square roots running around. You're going to have some different things. Questions? Everyone ready?
No.
I just saw you, Brad. Sorry. My calculator was dead. I went to go use it to grade your guys' tests, and it was yelling at me. If anybody else has a newer calculator and hasn't charged it recently, make sure it doesn't go dead. They don't like that. Okay. So a definition, a definition, a rule, a formula, all are the same things. Okay? So here's the arithmetic. You have a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. You can put the d in the front or the back, but it's always in the back for me. I don't know why. It just is. I think your book puts it in the back too. Hey, so a sub n is the nth term. A sub n is a term. N, I'm going to skip to the n because the n is in both, is the number of that term. Okay. So a sub 6 is what term? Sixth term. A sub 1 is the first term in the sequence. Okay. Again, it's the first term in the sequence. When we're finding those terms, that's found by plugging in number 1. Okay, we plug in 1. Then the second term, we plug in what? 2. And then 3. Okay? And D is the common difference. There are 4 variables in this equation. As long as I have 3 of them, can I find the other one? Yes. And you will have to do that. You will find a sub n, you will find a sub 1, you will find n, you will find d. The biggest mistake that people do make when they're working with this is they forget that this is multiplication. So when they plug in a number, let's say n is 6, and a sub 1 is 10, okay, and I'm going to say a sub n, a sub 6, if n is 6, this would be a sub 6, right? Give me a value. Somebody give me a value.
94.
94. I don't know if that would work. Probably not. Because I'm adding multiples of 6. So 36, we'll go with 46, just to show you. Okay, so they plug these things in because they have to find D, right? Because that's the only thing missing. So they do 46 equals 10 plus 6 minus 1 D. And they say 46 equals 10 plus 5. And they'll say 46 equals 15D. Or 15 plus D. What did I do wrong in both of those situations?
You did.
Can I combine the 5 and the 10?
No.
No. Can I combine the 5 and the 10, the 5D and the 10? No. In both of those, I did something wrong. But, and I think that's why I put D where it is. Sometimes the book would put D5, and then if they know D and they don't know 5, I mean, it just messes it up. Make sure you remember that order of operations counts, and you have to do this first, yes? Okay, so then I would subtract, get 36 equals 5D, and then so D would be 36 over 5. And that's what the world would be 36 over 5. Okay? They're not going to be nice all the time. They're going to be different. But you need to know this. I'm not going to give it to you. Now, it may be in a question that you have to name it or something, but I'm not going to just give it to you. Okay, it says find a formula for the nth term of the arithmetic sequence whose common difference is 3 and its first term is 2. So I have a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So at finding a formula, I'm going to have variables still in the formula, yes? When I find a formula, I'm still going to have n, and I'm still going to have what? A sub n. Those would be my input and my output. My x and my y, my domain and my range. My domain is n, my range is a sub n. It's the output. So when I'm done, I'm still going to have those things in there. So what is 3? What variable is 3?
3 is the ND.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
So D is 3. What is 2? A sub 1. And you guys need to say A sub. We're getting more advanced in our math. It's a sub. Okay, so what do I do with my D and my A sub 1?
plug it in.
Plug it in. So A sub n equals 2 plus n minus 1 times 3. So I have to simplify that. So how would I simplify that? Distribute my 3.
A sub n equals 2 plus 3n minus 1.
So A sub n,
Or no, minus 3. Minus 3.
oh yes,
Sorry. You combine 2 and 3.
combine my like terms, and 3n minus 1. So now I have, you can call that a formula, a rule, an equation. Does it all mean the same thing? Now, can I find the first 5 terms of that? How would I find a sub 1? Plug in what? 1. So, 3 minus 1 is?
2.
Is 2. A sub 2 would be 6 minus 1, which would be 5. A sub 3,
A 12 minus 1 is 11.
now, the only reason I'm doing this is because sometimes when we take 3 times 3, do we get 6?
No.
Sometimes do we?
No.
I've graded some of your tests. I've graded all your tests. And do we make mistakes like that?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay? At least you could do the 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, write it down. Does that tell me your brain is doing this right? Yes. Okay? Well, you guys do a lot of things on a test. You need to keep your brain straight. So you need to find that happy medium of doing everything in your head and writing some information down. Questions? Concerns?
Why is math hard?
It's not hard. It's only hard till you do it once or twice. Am I good? No.
It gets harder.
Just builds. And the math, once you figure out the math is a puzzle and you can use anything you've already learned to figure it out, it's really not that hard. Because you can manipulate equations as long as you do the same thing to both sides. You can manipulate an expression as long as you add and subtract the same thing. And it looks differently every time. So, math is challenging. I will agree.
Okay, you're good.
Okay. Oh, real quick. All of these are, what kind of an equation is that? No, what kind? Linear. Why is that linear?
It's just
It's
one
X and
variable.
Y.
Yeah, it's x and y. The n is to the first degree, right? If I go back up here with my definitions, is this linear? Is this first one linear?
No.
Yeah. Is this linear? Yeah. Is this one linear?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's linear. That's 1/4 n plus 3/4, yes? And so the y-intercept is 3/4 and the slope is what? 1/4. Can you graph all of those?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Just because we're thinking arithmetic, their graphs, if I graph them, are going to look like linear lines, right? This one's going to go up. This one's going to go what? Down. Because the slope is negative. Okay. So making those connections from what you already know to what we're doing is helpful because you do have some problems today that say graph. Okay, try this one on your own. Bless you.
I'm done. I'm just doing.
Okay. How did it go, guys?
Good. I
Great.
just forgot to put the 5 to the positive. Not the 5, but
The
the 4 or something. I don't know.
No, the 5, because
Yeah.
when you distribute, it becomes positive. Okay. So are we going to make little math mistakes that we have to try not to make?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Questions. That's the easy ones, right?
We're gonna do that. Find the rest of the terms thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, on this one, I wasn't going to. What was it we had?
Negative.
You had 4 minus 5n. So, a sub 1, if I plug in 1, would be negative 1. A sub 2 would be negative 6. A sub 3 would be negative 11. A sub 4 would be negative 16. A sub 5 would be negative 21. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, they'll ask you to do that and find the next 5 terms. They'll ask you to find the equation and then find like a sub 26. How would I find a sub 26? I would just plug 26 in, right? So 4 minus 5 times 26 will be 0, 3, 1. So negative 126.
Easy.
Okay. So just whatever they ask you to do, write a definition and then find whatever. Just do it. Some of them will just say they'll say the difference in the first term and say, give me the next 5 terms. Do you need to write this first?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. They're not going to tell you that. On the test, I'm looking for this every single question. Because is that pretty much the most important part to do it? Yep. Okay. So, find the 10th term. So I want a sub 10 for the arithmetic sequence that begins with 8 and 20. So what is 8?
A sub 1.
A sub 1. And what is 20?
A sub 2.
A sub 2. Because it says it starts with, right? Doesn't tell me anything else. So can you do this whole problem with that information?
Yes. Yeah, because you have the common difference there.
Yeah. What is the common difference?
12.
12. Okay. So just do that and find 10.
Let's see, where did the end go?
Or then go where?
She found I could.
Well, I wanted what? A sub 10, so what's my n? It's a sub n, and we have want a sub 10, so what's n? 10. So in here, 10 times 12 is 120. Did you get 116? Did you get 12n minus 4? Yes. Okay. Are we good to go?
Wait,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be negative 12 inch?
No.
Because it's 8.
No.
Never mind. I put a minus instead of a plus.
Okay. And that's one of those things, if I write a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 d every time, are those things going to make it? Yes? But make sure you're putting them right before you go. Now, am I good? Okay. This is just a decimal. Does it change anything how I do it?
No.
No. Do we need to do it?
No.
Okay. You will have decimals. Okay. Now, write the first 5 terms of the arithmetic sequence is a sub 4 is 20 and a sub 13 is 65. Well, we need to write a definition. And our definition is a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1d. Yes? In every problem, we've needed what 2 things to write that definition?
Common difference.
Common difference and
First term.
the first term. So we don't have those things right now, do we? But what we could do is I could make a sub 1 equal 20.
Yeah.
So if I made a sub 1 equal 20, what would a sub 13 be then?
10.
10. I just kicked them back how much?
3.
3. Why did I pick 3?
So it was 1.
So it's 1, right? I made a sub 4, a sub 1. Now if I have a sub 1 and a sub 10, can I find my difference? Yeah. So let's do that. We're going to use my formula. We're going to use my formula a couple times here. So what is a sub n?
A sub n.
20.
No. 65 is a sub n, right? It's the n one. So 65 equals, what's a sub 1?
20.
20 plus n Well, what is n?
10
10 minus 1 times
D.
d. Okay, well then what? 65 equals 20 plus 9d.
Why is a sub n 10 again?
Why is n 10?
Or
A sub n is the answer. So that's 65. And the n is 10. Is that what you're asking? Or how did I go from 13 to 10?
I know you kicked it back 3 because you kicked a sub 4 back to a sub
Right.
1, so you have to do it to the other.
Right.
So why would the n be 10?
Because if I line these up, this 20 would be my first one, and then I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then this would be my 10th term of my new lineup.
It's fine. I know what good my figures.
Okay. Okay, so what I got 45 equals 9d, so d is what?
5.
5. So now I have d is 5. I'm good there, right?
Yeah.
What do I need to find?
You define the first 5 terms.
Well, not the first, I'm not
You
yet.
define the definition.
I need to find the definition, so I need to get what? A sub 1? Well, I have d and I have 2 terms, right? Can I use one of those to find my a sub 1? Which one would you like to use? 20? You guys all good with 20?
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're using the original and our difference and our formula again. So what's a sub n? Well, they opted for this one. 20 equals, and we need a sub 1, that's what we're going for, right?
Yeah.
Plus, what's n?
20.
Nope.
No.
N is 4, a sub 4, minus 1 times
Times 5.
5.
Difference is
So 4 minus 5 is 3, times 5 is
15.
15. So a sub 1 is what?
5.
5. So now I have a sub 1 and I have d. Can I write my definition? Yep. So write your definition. And plug in and get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
There's an ambulance over at the corner over here this morning.
Was there?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully everything is okay.
It's not good, Brad.
Brad, don't you have
Brad,
It's a good thing that the ambulance responded in time.
No, you said
Okay, well, you don't know if they were in time, so just
I'm
saying.
just saying, good thing they responded.
no.
Armor EMS doesn't
Okay,
respond all the
shh.
time.
Are you working? Are you done with your problem?
Yes.
I'm just gonna say I'm done.
Yeah, stop tipping.
Yep.
Okay. So, are you always going to have a plus something?
Yeah.
No.
No. My y-intercept can be 0, yes?
Yeah.
So, how did we do this problem? Let's go back over and talk about what we did. What did we do first?
We moved our A sub 1 so we knew what it would be.
Right. We moved our lowest end back to 1, didn't we? And then whatever we did to that one, we have to do the other. We found our D. We used that D. And did it matter if I used A sub 4 or A sub 13?
No.
Nope, didn't matter at all. To find A sub 1, once I have A sub 1 and D, can I write myself a definition? And then plug in 1 through 5. Okay. Okay, so we have 8 and 41.
What? 8 and 4.
A sub, oh, well, I was saying A sub 8, and then I had, instead of saying A sub 12. Okay, I just didn't need to see what we had next. Okay, so what are we going to do first?
Move back. Throw it back.
Throw it back. I'm going to write my definition first so I don't forget it. So A sub 1 is what? It's 25. Okay, so that makes A sub what? 41.
5.
A sub 5.
5, we have to move it back 7.
Why did you do that?
Because I had to move a sub 8 back 7 places to get a sub 1. So I have to do 12 minus 7 would be 5. So now, what's a sub n? 41 equals a sub 1 is 25 plus, what's the n that goes with 41? 5 minus 1 d.
Wait, how do you know that the n is 5?
Because this 41, what term is 41?
Oh, the fifth.
5.
So now I'll do it.
Hey, Mrs. Mick.
I didn't
your
turn on my
timer did go
alarms.
off. Is that the, yeah, that's the show bell.
Yes.
Okay, I do not know. D is 4, guys. I'm not sure if you have recursive definitions on your homework. Just do as much as you can. Okay. I don't know if you have any recursive on there or not. I think the last. Keep going once you get recursive because the last ones are graphs.
What do you mean recursive?
Well, we'll find out tomorrow, won't we?
These right here, Ethan, where I tell you, you start at 72, and then you plug it 72 minus 6, and then that answer minus 6, and that answer minus 6. That was the last slide we had. And of course, we didn't get to it.